Hello guys, and welcome to Ride VIP, the Ride channel. My name is Serge, and in today's video I would like to show you how much money I made on a Friday and overall on the week, and I would like to talk about the weekend plans, how much I should be making this weekend. Now I will mention this, I don't think I've been working as hard as I normally do. As you can see by the hours worked, I've only worked 29 hours total, and basically just completed a Friday, and it's 3:50 in the morning, which is Saturday morning. And this will obviously reflect the pay. As I always said, if you put your time in, you will definitely get more money. Now, if you guys have watched my other couple videos, then you will know this was a very busy week for me, so I was not able to focus as much. Now, about Friday, I could have done a lot better and I could have left a lot sooner, except I didn't, because it was like raining like crazy, and I decided to sleep in because of the previous days. I actually had about 4.5 hours of sleep each day, just because of everything else that was tying up my schedule, plus trying to do Lyft. I'm only working for Lyft at this point because Uber maybe shadow banned me. I don't know. I haven't really called them and stuff, but for some reason they're not accepting my inspection document for my BMW, and I have submitted it more than 3 times. Each time it says it's under review, and it sort of gets kicked out saying that it's not accepted. But it's due to expire in July. That was the same vehicle inspection that I had in North Carolina by an authorized Jiffy Lube location, and it was accepted back then, and then all of a sudden they decided to kind of kick it out of the system. Like, okay, are they not authorized location for inspections anymore? And I did pay the inspection fee, which was like 23 bucks. So it's kind of like, okay, so I have to pay what, to another inspection place to get approved now? But anyways, all that should probably be solved by simply giving them a phone call. But I think Uber is not liking the fact that I cherry pick the hell out of the rides. I don't cherry pick as much when it comes to Lyft. However, I did cancel a bunch today. With that being said, still on Lyft, I have a 5-star rating, as you can see right there, and there are my rides, as you can see. With that being said, currently with the amount of money that I made, I would like to actually find out how much money I'm making per hour, because I haven't really done the math yet. But apparently it seems that my daily average is about 7 hours a day, give or take. So far I worked about, I'd say, like 4 days. $791. Let's just see like this. $791. What is it, 29 hours that I worked? Yeah, let's just divide it by 29. So it puts me at $27.27, which is not bad. So I'm not gonna really complain about that. As you know, in my previous videos, when I done similar calculations when it comes to Uber, consistently, time and time again, I was making about $19 an hour. So you already know that the $27 an hour that I'm making right now with Lyft, that is obviously a gross amount. Each day, it is costing me $50 in fuel. So today, according to my driving, I fueled up my vehicle. I spent $50, but I used slightly more than a half a tank of fuel, which is not bad. So it's gonna cost me slightly less than $50 tomorrow. But the fuel prices has been really going up, and even though I've been fueling up in South Carolina, I've been paying $3.89 at my favorite QT gas station. Let me know what you've been paying, because I'm paying for premium fuel, just to let you know. With all that being said, I would like to say this, okay? The BMW that I'm using, it's a 2010, in case you guys are watching this video for the first time, and it only qualifies for Lyft Economy or Uber X, in case you guys are wondering. So you might be thinking that, is it worth it for me to use a luxury car while I'm actually doing economy type of service? And the fuel economy is not that great. According to the BMW, I'm doing slightly less than 23 miles per gallon. According to my calculations, it's like 19. And I have a tuner that's plugged into my BMW that actually tells me I'm doing 19 and a half miles per gallon. So this is why in a lot of my videos I would, if I'm looking at miles per gallon when I'm calculating trips, if they're worth it for me, I always calculate at 20 miles per gallon. So, and I would estimate the fuel would be about like $4, per gallon. Because I fuel up in South Carolina, so right now it's $4.89. So I just like to round that off. If let's say I'm in North Carolina, then I'll be paid $4 and some change. So, if that makes any sense. So if I'm seeing a trip and I'm going like, let's say like 20 miles, right, total, and I'm only making $4 of it, well, I just lost money, because that literally will cause me to break even. And even though that might seem funny, but believe me, I have seen trips like this where literally it would end up costing me money to work for Uber, because they had some of the most ridiculous trips like that. Doesn't always happen, but it does happen on occasion. With that being said, I had this thought to mention this to you guys this week about using luxury cars that cost you a little bit more money when it comes to using them for Lyft or Uber, whether it's worth it or not. And my thought is like this: when you spend majority of your life, which is 12 hours in a car driving, if you decide to do the whole 12-hour type of shift for Uber or Lyft, then, and you're doing it like every day, just about, right? Then your quality of life kind of goes up, because you have a more of a luxury car. Because first of all, driving one makes you feel much better about yourself. You think about yourself as being more successful. Whether you are or not, it's another story. But it makes you appear more successful. It makes you look more professional. Riders will typically ask you if you do something else besides this, because a lot of times they notice you drive a nice car and they wonder those type of things. Plus, I put on sort of like a suit. I put on a blazer with a black shirt and black pants. That's usually kind of like what I like to wear. So it looks to them like I have a suit on. So with that being said, I look professional overall, and I think differently. So as it's costing me more money, let me just cancel this. I don't know why I'm even using the GPS. So as it's costing me more money to operate a BMW, plus I'm looking at it, so I'm thinking like, okay, instead of how can I save more money by driving, I ask myself questions like, how can I make more money so that I don't have to worry about saving? And as a matter of fact, I'm starting to think more like on the lines of like, well, I really don't want to drive an economy car, even though it makes the most amount of sense financially if you're trying to make more money when it comes to driving for Uber or Lyft. It's like, yes, you're gonna make more money because you get to keep more of it, because the car is less expensive to maintain and it's cheaper to fuel up, things of that nature. But how does that make you feel? And that car will not make you feel successful. You actually, when driving, will probably have this face that's makes you look from from somebody else's perspective. When they look at you, you might look a little bit more sad, or maybe like unsure of yourself, or maybe a little bit gloomy, because you're probably on the inside, whether you realize it or not, you're thinking like this: well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in this car. I don't want to be driving these passengers around, and I don't feel good doing it because I'm not comfortable in this economy car. I spend majority of my time in this economy car, and it makes me feel like crap, because all I do is I pay my bills. I basically have nothing left over, and I have to save all this money in order to continue living. And it literally impacts the way your face look. If you look at somebody's face, like let's say like they're a beggar on the street, even though they're young, sometimes they're young, look at how their face appears. It looks very gloomy, like they put on this face like, please help me, I'm a loser, I don't have a life, and you should definitely feed me. They put on this sad face. Now, if somebody just done it like one time a week, right, it would probably not impact them that much. But the reason that they have this face is because they don't feel good about their life. Their life sucks. And let's say, they've been doing it for years on end, and now somebody gives them $1 million. I'm not going to go into how they're going to lose all that money, but their face is still going to basically reflect their past life. You look at that person, and maybe they have a nicer car now, maybe they have a nicer house, but that face sort of will have like muscle memory, and that muscle memory will make them look not as successful. Even if they put on a suit, they're gonna appear to be sad, they're gonna appear to be not successful. And I believe that an economy car will do something similar. It's not going to be as bad as you being like a beggar on the street, but certainly it will make you feel as though you're not successful, and you're going to act as if you're not successful, and you'll feel like you have to make excuses towards other people. Anytime somebody asks you like, well, why are you doing Lyft? Why aren't you doing something else, right? You will feel like you have to make excuses to them, like, why are you doing it? Like that kind of thing. Because ultimately, you don't want to be doing that, because you would like to do something else, but maybe you can't. Or maybe you feel that you can't. But if you constantly drive in an economy car, you will not look successful. You will not think about success, because, especially if you got still a car payment on that car, you're going to think, well, I just want to get this car payment done. Like, I just want to pay my bills. And on the other hand, if you got a used car and it's a luxury car, right? And you keep it clean, you look nice, you're clean, you smell nice. And even though it's not a brand new car, you know how many times people tell me like, they're thinking this is a new car, and they'll ask me like, oh, what year is this? This is a very nice BMW. And I said, this is a 2010. And they're like, no, this is not a 2010. Why does it look so good? Why, like, it looks so much newer. Oh, old BMWs, I guess they're like, even the new ones, they all kind of look the same. That's what they start telling me. They're like, they all look very identical. Like, wow, you can't even tell this is an older BMW. Wow, it looks so good. Are you ever going to sell it? That's how they talk to me. But, also, I get a lot of respect. I literally just about, like, and I'll say like 99.99999%, I don't have any issues with any people in my vehicle. It is very rare that it would be like some issues. It would be like something like minor. I get respected more by clients, well, by writers. It doesn't matter where they are. And sometimes, like, some of them, they would be like, sir, please tell me, how can I be like you? Like, how can I have a car like this? How did you get, they're thinking I'm like full of success, even though I'm driving for Uber. And I'm like, I'll pretend at first, I'll downplay it. And I'm like, like I'll act like as if, this is what I'm doing, Uber. And really, this is how I got the car. Anyways, from doing Uber or Lyft. Like, literally, this helped pay for it. It's like really no big deal. But in their mind, they think that I'm a lot more successful. So why am I telling you all this, of these things? Because in life, most of us, we want to better ourselves. We want to take what we have and multiply it, double your income, double your fun, So, double your pleasure, double your fun. It's like, I think there was like a commercial like that back in the day. But anyways, we want to be able to be more successful in life. And little steps that get us there, like just having a little bit nicer clothes, a little bit of a nicer car, right? It helps us feel those luxuries a little at a time. Maybe you got a nicer phone. Just a little bit, it's kind of like you're making your steps towards having a nicer life. While using this opportunity, you have all this opportunity when you're driving. You could literally, like, use your mind to think, right? To clear your mind. Like, what do you really want to do for the rest of your life? What do you want to do with your life, right? What does rich people do? What are they doing? What do they know that you don't know? Because believe me, guys, the people that do the least amount of work, they get paid the most amount of money. And while it sounds like that's not fair, ultimately that's how it is. Look at anybody in management position, right? Managers still running around. They're still doing some work, right? But they're getting paid a little more for it. They're doing a little less work, ultimately, like less physical work. Maybe they're doing a little bit more critical thinking type of work, right? But then you move up and you look at like a CEO of a company or some other positions, right? They have a lot of people that's doing work for them. They just basically point in figures, like, what they want to get done. But they get paid millions. But they don't have to really hustle like we hustle when it comes to Lyft, Uber, or anything else. They don't have to work as hard, but they make millions. So I ask myself every day, what else can I be doing to get to that other level, to feel that other success? And it all starts by you dressing for the job that you want, not for the job that you have. This is why every day I put on a suit. I don't put on no tie. I button down my shirt, a couple buttons, and I feel comfortable. I'm driving people around, and it doesn't cost any extra. It doesn't have to be nothing expensive. I'll tell you a secret. You're not gonna believe me. I'm wearing a $5 blazer from Goodwill, $5 shirt, $5 pants from Goodwill. Could I afford some better? Of course. But that's just to show you a point. You don't have to really go out and spend hundreds of dollars to look good. That's just all kind of like smoke and mirrors. I mean, you'll do that once you become, I don't know, like some top level executive. Then you'll have like pre-fitted suits, custom made and stuff like that to look very, very, very sharp, because you will be possibly in the meetings with some of the highest successful people in the business, and you definitely want to look the part. But with me doing what I'm doing right now, I am working on getting my real estate license. I am studying, but I've been getting lots of, how should I say, slowdowns in my life, because life is happening whether we like it or not. Things happen, we need to do, that takes time, and I'm no different. I'm trying to overcome all of those things and then have my primary goal set. And I'm thinking, no, I will do everything I can to get my real estate license. Why? Is that because all of a sudden I'm gonna make money? No. If you become a real estate agent or any other salesperson, it doesn't mean that you're gonna make money right away, right? But it all starts with yourself, with how you think, with how you feel. You take little steps like that. So when you're driving in your car, even though you're just doing like meaningless type of tests, you start looking good for the people. You start talking to them a little bit more how successful people talk, you know, and you will start basically learning a little bit more about some of these people that we take around. Like some of them are very successful, you know. I've talked to many. There's a lot of interesting conversations that will happen while we're in an Uber, right? So we could learn from that. We could learn how some of the more successful people talk or don't talk. A lot of them, they really don't talk, right? But a lot of them do talk. I mean, look at Elon Musk, right? He gets himself in trouble from talking as much as he does, right? But he's definitely an interesting guy. Definitely does a lot of interesting things. Just by talking, it doesn't mean you're going to be less successful, okay? But it's how you talk, how you present yourself. That really does matter. How you feel about yourself, right? So it's important to feel good about yourself first, right? And that's by dressing nice, and that's by looking nice, by driving a nice car, because you're already kind of feeling that success. And it doesn't matter how old your car is, right? Like my BMW is, what, 13 years old now? Nothing to brag about, but it still looks nice. It's clean, right? I present it very well, so people think, you know, it's a nicer car. It's not that I'm trying to make them think it's a nicer car, right? But, you know, they look at it and they look at me and they think that because of how I look, that this car is more expensive. It's almost kind of like the model. The model makes the clothes. It's not the clothes that make the model. It's how you present yourself. So a lot of these people, they'll say you present, you know, how they, like I present myself, they'll tell me, like, the way you carry yourself, you know, they think that I'm more successful. And I am. I'm more successful. I mean, how many people you know that's got their house paid off, own the commercial zone property, paid cash for it? I have 34 cars at this point. Do I feel less successful? I do not, of course. But it all happened not by accident. I did not get a handout. It took little bit by me learning, like a little bit as I go along. There's certain things in life you gotta save on, but certain things in life you gotta splurge on, and you sort of have to learn to balance, because that's very important. You just can't go out there and live above your means just so you look cool, because nobody will care, and ultimately it's gonna cost you a lot of money. But like I said, it does not cost a lot to look good and to feel good, because somebody 13 years ago paid a full price for this BMW, right? Felt great about it. What changed? Nothing changed. The only thing that changed about this BMW is the mileage. I'm looking at 258,000 miles, and in one more day, it's going to be 259,000 miles. And do I care about the mileage? I do not. This BMW still means exactly the same to me as it did to somebody else 13 years ago. Because I don't care if this car is 13 years old. The only thing that's different now is potentially the maintenance cost, right? But it's still not going to cost the cost of a brand new BMW. The maintenance is still fairly cheap. Am I saying go out and buy a BMW? No. I'm saying you could buy any car that's a little bit older, but I think a black or a white car will make you look the most professional. I personally think, from luxury cars, or a gray car, like a dark gray, light gray, doesn't matter, and a silver one will do it as well. I think these natural tones definitely do the trick, but my favorite is black or white. You know, that is the two favorite. Or like aviator gray. I think that also looks very successful, because it's just a very it's actually a popular color, but this is the color of my Audi TT. It was actually aviator gray, and that was actually a special color. I loved it back in the day when I had it. But anyways, moving on. I know this is probably not what I said that initially the video was going to be about, but you already could tell what my income is and things of that nature. And it's still pretty good. Like, this is a lot better. Like, if I stop working right now, making $791 in 4 days, that's still great. Am I going to complain about that? $27 an hour? No. Even after fuel, if I'm making $20 an hour, that doesn't matter. What does matter is we are always in front of people. And we're dealing with thousands of people per year. And ultimately, that means it's money. It's kind of like if a website gets a lot of downloads, right? It means that the value goes up of that company, whatever, not a website, excuse me, an app, let's say like Twitter or like anything else, right? If a bunch of people are using it, the app costs more because it's a company, not so much the app. The company has a lot of users. Anytime somebody has a lot of users, the price goes up. What does that mean for us? We have lots of users too that use our service. That means there's money to be made, not just from taking people where they're going. Just because we're dealing with lots of people, that means you could make deals. You could sell things. You could sell things to these people. You know, I talk to a lot of different people that's in my car, right? And like, seriously, about 50% of the time, people will tell me like, hey, what else do you do? I'm like, well, what gave it away, you know? And yeah, they're interested. And I'm like, yeah, well, I deal with cars. They're like, oh yeah, well, how many cars do you have? And I'll say like, well, I have 34 cars. Oh, what do you do with all those cars? Are you selling any? Can I buy one? You know, they immediately want to buy a car. I'm not even trying to sell them one. And I said, well, I'm actually not selling any cars right now. I just been buying, you know. But they're like, well, please, well, tell me what kind of cars you have. Like, do you have anything for sale? Do you have anything in this price range? So like, literally, people are always bombarding me about buying a car. So if I did want to sell cars, if I did have cars available, then I could have sold cars. But let's say the conversation would have went differently. What else do you do? Well, I'm a real estate agent. Oh, wow. You know, and then maybe the conversation goes in a different direction. So that means your client that you just took, potentially you had a good conversation, you clicked, right? Potentially will say, hey, I'm actually looking for a house. I take Ubers all the time. Are you willing to take me around, see some properties? Yeah, I could do that. You know, so of course you would have to say all the right questions, like, you know, depending on whether somebody wants to look at a house or not. Are they buying cash, or are they financing, or they're pre-approved? These days, I don't think anybody's going to really show you a house if you're not pre-approved, because first of all, interest rates are very high. The price of homes is very expensive. So that means the mortgages are made very expensive. If you're not pre-approved, a real estate agent is just going to be wasting his time. And I'm not going to be wasting my time either if somebody's not pre-approved. But if somebody has cash, they're a cash buyer. And I'm sure that we take sometimes people that can be cash buyers. I've taken anyone from investors to other real estate agents and what have you, like bankers, you know, stockbrokers and things of that nature. There's a very good chance that some of these people that we take around could be our customers in the future. Whether they're buying a car from us, or they're buying a house from us, or they're buying solar panels or whatever else that you might be having for sale. You know, we have people here, and this is why it's important that even though maybe you're not experiencing that much success, you need to work on how to present yourself, because when you will be successful, if that's where you would like to go, right? This face of yours, it's going to develop muscle memory of a successful person. And I know I probably could have just said that to begin with, but I think it was obvious. If you look every day with a sad face, you'll have muscle memory of being a sad face. If you're always mad every day, then you will look like your face is mad, like nobody's gonna want to do business with you, like you're always pissed off or something. There's also people that look sad because they're always sad with their life. Every day They're sad because they're playing a blame game, you know? I'll tell you what, guys, nothing bothers me. I don't care about anybody being polite to me, politically correct to me, if they say my name wrong, if they cut me off, if like they say something mean. I don't even care. So guess what? None of this stuff happens to me. Nobody tells me these things. And if they do, I did not notice because I don't even care. So none of these things will make me upset. And if anything does make me upset, guess what? I'm changing what I'm doing. Simple as that. I will not continue doing something I don't like. And that is just a common sense. I don't know why somebody would continue doing something they hate just because it makes them good money. You should not do that. You should just change whatever you're doing. You should just follow your dream, whatever that may be. And don't let somebody else tell you that have not achieved their dreams that you will not achieve your dreams, because the only person that knows whether or not you will achieve your dream is yourself. Because if you have that vision of achieving that goal, then you can achieve that goal. So how can you listen to somebody that does not even see your vision and tell you that you can't? So just listen to yourself, listen to your gut feeling. But with that being said, guys, I will finish off by saying the next 2 days is going to be interesting. I do not know how Saturday will go. I do not know how Sunday will go. But according to how this week has been going, including Friday, I did not see it be very busy. And of course, I'm accepting every single ride. As you can see, I've done 20 rides, right? In almost 8 hours, which is a lot of rides. But I didn't even get $300 for that, right? Because they don't cost that much. So while I worked a lot, and it's about the typical rides that I do, 20 to 25. I've done as much as 30 or more. Of course, I finished a little bit early. I think if I worked 12 hours, I could have did like 30 rides. But I finished earlier today because I had a gut feeling that I should just stop working. Not because I was tired, but because I'm thinking, I don't think this is going where I want it to go. And I guess the only way I could actually tell if that's true or not is to take this 167 and divide it by 8. See, 167 divided by 8, $20 an hour. You see, that's like not even 27. So that did not feel like, I look at it, I'm like, does not feel right. If it was $25 an hour, right, that feels a little bit better. Not where I want it to be, but $20 an hour, no, that does not feel as good. So I just basically stopped. I want to say is I'm gonna look at the challenge, which is the One Days challenge. As you can see, I gotta do 65 rides to get $150. Now, additional 30 rides would have got me an additional $180. I don't think that's gonna be possible for me to get that done. Not this week anyways. Even though it was just like I just did like one little day, right? But I could already feel that it's not happening. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to complete 65 rides to get the 150, but you know, I'm not gonna really worry about the $180 one. And I think next week I will have to look at the challenges a little bit closer and not choose impossible challenges that will definitely kill me in order for me to reach that particular goal. Because we already know that that's nearly impossible to do 95 rides. Like that's a lot in 3 days. Because Fridays are, depending if there's a bad weather situation and what time of the year, but recently they haven't been that good for me. I mean, look, making $20 an hour on a Friday, that's not good on a Friday. And it wasn't surging really well for me either. So, you know, I'm not really hopeful that it's gonna really be any different for Sunday. Saturday might be okay. I guess I will make that video tomorrow at the end of my shift for Saturday to find out how did I actually do. Did I actually do the 12 hours? Because I was planning to do the 12 hours, but it's all how it goes, like how I'm getting paid. Also, I do want to mention this other thing. I've been noticing that if I am doing quests, I'm actually getting paid less per ride. I don't know if you guys been noticing that, but I'm noticing that I'm losing about $2 per trip. I'm getting paid less while I'm doing a quest. Tell me, guys, if you see in that, because if that is the case and I'm losing $2 times 95, that's gonna be like $190. That's where the quest money is. So they literally locking me in to do the quest just so that I will stick around and do those rides. So now in the process they'll actually pay me less per each ride. So if I don't complete the quest, overall I get paid less. But if I wasn't doing a quest, I would probably be actually getting paid more per ride. So I feel as if that is actually what's happening. It's manipulation tactic by Lyft, and I'm sure Uber does it too. That's just a way for them to lock you in and to trick you. So algorithmically they want to get you to do more rides. Now they know that they will make the money, ultimately pay you less per each ride, and the money that they save they'll just give you as a bonus. But if you don't complete the challenge, now you made less per hour, ultimately making you feel less important. Oh yeah, and one last other thing I'm looking into, of course, besides doing real estate, I am also thinking about selling cars, which I did mention, and I do have some cars. I know I've mentioned in one of the comments that I do not like car projects, right? I just happen to have some, right? I'm gonna try to aim at, in the future, buying cars that require the least amount of work. I'm talking about maybe a couple sensors replaced, just getting the car washed and just clean up a little bit, and then, you know, maybe clear some codes, and hopefully the car's ready to go, and just basically sell it. Because trying to do car projects, I realized I calculated the times, and I realized that it's just not worth it, because the cars will take all of your time, and ultimately I will make exactly the same money from driving Uber or Lyft. So for that not to happen, I should buy cars wisely. Maybe pay a little bit more for the car, but the car needs to be a little bit more complete, and then just resell that car as I'm driving, and then that will actually increase my earnings. But with that being said, I'm signing out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.